This is the 90 Degree Show brought to you by the Marching Podcast. And now here's your host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
Welcome to the 90 Degree Show, everyone. I am your host, Joe Beard, and happy to be of service for you. We appreciate all those listening live through iTunes, Facebook, Twitter, our website, our blog, or wherever you are on the interwebs. At the end of the broadcast, if you decide you like the show, then we appreciate a donation to the network if you feel so in your heart, of course. Just simply go to themarchingpodcast.com and click on the donate button to help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund. This podcast is presented to you by Block Band Music and Publishing, the Edge One Productions, and Double Time Entertainment. We appreciate you listening, and we hope you enjoy the show. We welcome you to the 2016 season of the 90 Degree Show. We are happy to talk another year about our beloved schools. Super excited to be broadcasting in our new studio and ready to introduce the new format to the show. We are not taking calls in accordance with Blog Talk Radio anymore. However, if you would like to be on the show to talk, please contact the show about whatever battle you attended, and you're welcome to be a part of our recording. In this podcast, we talk the 2017 Honda Battle of the Bands. The votes are in, and the people have selected the 8 bands that will compete in our Super Bowl for the Battle of the Bands. This year's lineup will be Alabama A&M, Alabama State, Texas Southern University, Jackson State University, North Carolina A&T State University, Benedict, Bethune-Cookman, and last but not least, Winston-Salem State University. We welcome back our panel, Christy Walker, owner and founder of thefifthquarter.com, and Rashad Waters, owner and founder of Block Band Music and Publishing. I asked them what they did this week, which includes the election of 2016, what they think of the Honda lineup, if there were any snubs that they believe, and who would be on the top list for 2018 in the Honda Battle of the Bands. You can email the show at marchingpodcast@gmail.com, tweet us at marchingpodcast, or follow our blog, blog4.themarchingpodcast.com. We hope you enjoyed this podcast. All right, you're now here with the Marching Podcast, and we are doing a special podcast here to talk about the Honda Battle of the Bands that will take place in January, like it does every year in Atlanta. And we want to talk about the band selected to see how you guys feel. We have our outstanding panel here with us in this podcast, the one and only Christy Walker. How you doing?
I'm good. Good to be here. And are you actually going to the Honda this year?
I'm planning on it. Yes.
Uh-huh.
I want to
plan.
go. I want to go.
He's still in the planning phases of his plan.
Right.
And then right quick, the magnanimous Rashad Waters. What's going on, man? How you doing?
What's going on, man? Everything is fantastic over here, brother.
Well, I'm glad to have you guys back with old crew again here talking about the one and only Honda Battle of the Bands. This is our Super Bowl, and we want to make sure that we support it as much as we can, but we also have a really good conversation every year about the Honda. So I wanted to get your thoughts about the bands, as we know that bands are voted for every year, and we wanted to talk, is it 8 bands? It's 8 bands every year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's 8. It used to be 10 back in the day, but it's 8 now.
Okay, so we will talk about those 8 schools, those 8 programs really fast. I want to ask you what you guys did this week.
Oh my gosh. Work was crazy. A huge part of my job is that I had to plan a career fair. I've been doing it. It's been in the works for ever since basically I got to my job. And so that was actually the day after the election, which I didn't plan that day people above me planned it to be that day, but that ended up taking a lot of energy out of me because of several reasons. First of all, the whole election thing. I'm not going to go there right now, but, having to come back from, hearing those election results and then having to plan a huge career fair. It was intense. So right now, I'm glad the week is over. I'm ready to just chill out and not do a lot.
I heard that. Rashad, what did you do this week?
Like Christy, I was, heavily looking at the election myself. On a Monday, I actually went out to a Hillary Clinton rally. It was like a midnight rally over on the campus of UNC. I didn't get inside, though, so a lot of us were standing outside watching it on TV in the cold.
Wait a minute, I thought she was at NC State.
I'm sorry, you're right. It was at NC State. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. It's always nice when your Facebook stalkers.
No, when you live in the same area and actually keep up with what's going on in the news. You worry about your pre-analysis, okay? Worry about that.
Anyway, we went to the rally on Monday, and I bought me a hat that I guess I'll never use. And then I watched the election with my folks on Tuesday. And then, of course, as usual, had male chorus rehearsal on Wednesday, which went really well. Oh, and a highlight of my week was on yesterday at the Block Band staff meeting. We were blessed to have Mr. Paul Adams.
Oh,
nice.
The primary arranger at Norfolk State University, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, arrangers of our style in the nation. Talked to us probably almost about just over 2 hours.
Wow.
And it didn't start till 10 o'clock at night. So he talked to us from 10 o'clock until sometime after midnight. He's a great person, very knowledgeable, very willing to give his knowledge, very compassionate. Just real quick, the thing that I liked the most about him, or that caught my attention the most, is after everything was done and we all said our thanks, he started calling off all of us. And you say, hey, hey, Antoine, Dan, it was nice getting to catch up with you again. Freeman, he was like naming all of us. Just the fact that he took the time to write down everybody's name so that he could thank us for being there. That just the little things like that, it really shows you how great a person that he was. So
yeah, he's a cool dude. I like him. I respect him a lot.
Yeah, he was my band director there at Jackson State. Probably the greatest years, I believe, in the program's history. The year 97 through 99.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's debatable, but 97 really. Oh my God, it just brings me chills when I think about it. But yes, Mr. Adams was outstanding. Just a quick story right on him. He kind of punked me a little bit.
He punked you, okay?
He was. And I want to be careful about this. I don't want people to take this the wrong way, but Mr. Adams was a mental hazer.
Yeah, I believe that.
When we were there. So he was, like you said, he's all wonderful, great guy, but as far as getting us ready each week, he, I guess, had to use certain techniques. I'll never forget at band camp one year, I had practiced more in my life than I ever had from the summer I finished Jackson State, after my first year at Jackson State, and then going into the next year, because I really wanted to be good, and I knew freshmen were coming in, so I wanted to represent, and I wanted people to have more of a higher respect for my playing skills, and I could tell that he knew that I was practicing. So one day we are actually going through music, and he, just like you said, Rashad, which makes me think of the story, he calls out every trumpet person in the section and says, just for example, like Avery McFadden, man, I love what you do. From Florence, South Carolina, you work really hard. I want you to work really hard because I miss it when you play. He went through the entire section and did not call me out. And it was so obvious because he said something to everybody but me. And I think he was challenging me, or he knew that I had been working hard, but he was, I guess, trying to see what I was made of. But I wasn't made of too much back then because I wanted to kill him.
I was crying. He hurt my feelings. I was like, man, he caught everybody but me, man. And then my boy Ron, my crab brother Ron, shout out to you, Ron. He was laughing at me. You know what I'm saying? So it was crazy how that went in 1999. But Mr. Adams, I mean, he was just like that. He would be directing us, and he would stop, and he would be like, boy, why did you play that note?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? On measure 48, it's an E, son. He's like, son, you got to listen, son. Like, and he would be like, damn, how are you able to know? You know, I mean, even a couple times. Well, I won't go there. But I just know that he was able to
Oh, he
point
called
out
you out because you was missing notes. Okay.
Well, no, he never called me out in front of everybody. But he called me out that one time. But he would say things sometimes, and it felt like he was talking to me because I was like, damn, I did that. And then he would, you know. So Mr. Adams, man, I had just the greatest respect for him, but I was kind of scared of him, too. Like, because he would be, you know, he would just kind of say certain things, and I didn't know how to take it, you know. But I learned how to be tough. That's one thing Mr. Adams taught me about was being tough. So you can't let everything someone say to you just make you cry. You know what I'm saying? So thanks, dog. Rude, dog. The bruh. Yeah, the bruh. He was trying to make me tough. That's all. Appreciate dog.
Just a couple of quick comments on him. He shared with us. Number one, he told us that he does not use a piano to arrange. That
I
he
believe
pretty much
that.
does everything by ear.
Mm-hmm.
And also, he also told us that, and I'd heard this story before. Mr. Davis, who used to be assistant band director at Hampton, had told us about this guy that did this, but I didn't know who it was. He told us that back in the day, they didn't have tape recorders. So, you know, now, like I remember when I was teaching, I wish I could have had YouTube because I could have heard any song that I wanted to. Instead, I had to try to find some way to obtain the music. Well, with him, they didn't even have, you know, tape recorders. So basically, if you wanted to arrange a song that was hot right then, you had to wait for it to come on the radio. And he would wait for it to come on the radio, write what he could then, and then wait for it to come again. So he would have to stay up all night trying to write as much as he could, as fast as he could, right there on the spot in order to get the song done.
Wow.
So yeah, the brother's tight. The brother,
oh yeah,
the brother is on it. You know, a lot of that PYT that Jackson State played, a lot of those songs. Mr. Adams wrote it. I remember he wrote 777-9311 and Pleasure Principle. He wrote a lot of things.
Need to write music and drill? Get it on the field. Outfit your band. Keep your administrator happy and still have a life. Encountering drama in the process, ain't nobody got time for that. Let Block Band Music assist you with musical arrangements and drills to fit your band, and also the equipment, gear, and accessories to keep the visuals, music, and marching on point. Contact blockbandmusic@gmail.com and see how this worldwide minority-owned business can uplift your band.
This is Joshua Cousin representing the Ocean of Soul, and you're listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Martin Podcast Network.
All right, so right quick, what I did, I voted. Shout out to Colin Kaepernick. I voted, and
yes, out.
So I was crunk. He kind of broke my heart this week. He really did. I thought he was, damn brother. You couldn't write in like Minister Brother Farrakhan or something. Like he couldn't write in nobody. You know, like damn. So
yeah, he kind of down with that too.
Yeah, so that kind of hurt. Then I was surprised at what happened because I told like so many people that the brother Trump didn't have a chance. You know, I would laugh when people would say it, and then I remember this guy said the guy Michael Moore, the film director, actually said that Trump was gonna win, and I was like, no, he ain't, man. Like you know, so it's been interesting, to say the least. But yeah, of course, I think we'll be okay because we went to black colleges, so we were already woke. So I think we straight. Moving on. So then my kids had this week off of school, so been
the whole week.
Yeah, well, since Wednesday, my daughter was off, and then my son got yesterday and today off. So been at home, working from home, and being dad, and listening to these
Why your
videos.
kids get PTO?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think something with the grades or something they said. I don't know. We then actually got together, and my wife and I finished Jessica Jones. Shout out to Rashad for putting me on the Marvel Netflix stuff. Really like Jessica Jones, and excited to pick up Luke Cage again. And saw about the Honda. Yeah, saw about the Honda. So I wanted to talk with you guys about the Honda, about the bands that are going to be there. And I guess that'll roll into our discussion now. So the bands that we have, and you guys help me out if I don't say them all. We have the Great Jackson State. I know you guys knew that they was going to be there. Winston-Salem State. Shout out to the Brother Magruder. Brother Magruder was also my band director there at one of the perennial times in Jackson State history. So shout out to him. Excited to see him go back again. Winston's been a lot to the Honda Battle of the Bands. So I'm excited to see that.
Alabama A&M.
Okay, Alabama A&M, Alabama State.
Right.
Benedict.
Bethune-Cookman, Blue and Gold Marching Machine.
North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University.
I was just about to say.
In case anybody was wondering.
If they didn't know Blue and Gold Machine. But they are BG_M on Twitter. So y'all hit them up. It's MM. Okay, Blue and Gold Marching Machine. Okay, they appreciate. Break me down. Winston-Salem State. Said that already. And Texas Southern. Shout out to Texas Southern. They're going to be there. So I ask you, Christy, are you excited about this lineup?
Yeah, I am. I think it's a good lineup because when I first saw the ballot, and I felt like this year the ballot had a lot of slim pickings on there. But when they actually announced the 8 that was going to be there, I was like, okay, I can deal with this. This is good. You know, you got some ones that's been there for several times, but I think it's a good mix.
Okay. Rashad, what is your initial reaction to the lineup? What did you think?
I was happy with the lineup. I think there are some bands that I wish were there, but I'm not disappointed by this one.
Right, me too.
I am somewhat kind of concerned about the wow factor of this event. I think that I'll just be brief. I didn't see like a lot of bands that really do a lot of wow things. I talked about that in my last analysis. Like there's a lot of bands here that are good, like they're technically sound. They're going to perform well. They're going to sound good. But then the wow factor is that little extra thing that you do that puts you over the top. And I'm kind of concerned about that. Like, are we just going to see 8 good bands? Or are we going to see, or maybe 6 good bands and 2 of them that really wow you? So maybe we'll talk about that.
Well, what's interesting to me is that this is in 2017, it's going to be the 15th year of the Honda, the 15th year. And with the new stadium being built, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and with them demolishing the Georgia Dome, I honestly don't know about the future of the Honda. I don't know of course, they're not going to have like a Honda Battle of the Bands at the Mercedes, at the Mercedes Dome, or I don't know what the future is of the event, to be honest with you. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do this. Like, are they going to have some celebrities come out? Because I remember that in past Hondas, they've had like celebrities come out in the interim between bands. I don't know how they're going to do it. I haven't really heard any whisperings about anything new coming on the scene and anything to celebrate the 15th anniversary. So we'll have to see.
Well, I'm excited because Jackson State is in there, and I didn't get to go last year, and I'm hoping that I can go this year.
Hoping. See, here you go.
I'm hoping because I want to hang out with Christy and Rashad. Really great photo opportunities there.
Yes. They're really, really strict with the press passes and the press credentials. at the Honda. You know, I wish I missed the old days of the Honda, because it was kind of like they didn't know what they figured they didn't know what they were doing. It's kind of like the Wild West in a way. But, you know, when they give you a press pass, either they're going to give you a sideline pass or they're going to give you like a press box pass. And if you are, they're very strict to adhering to, if you have a sideline pass, you can only stay on the sidelines, and you can stay in this one little clustered area. And if you have a press pass, you know, press pass cannot get you on the sideline, and vice versa. If I were you and I hadn't been to the Honda before, or hadn't been in a long time, I would want the freedom to kind of roam about.
Yeah, I feel like I'm working, and then that's something that Garrett and a lot of people, like when I talk to them about the game, they don't really be like, well, you know, I didn't really catch too much of what the bands were doing. I was so busy trying to film what I was doing, you know, and that's essentially what I would be going through. I like sitting here talking about it with y'all, but I'm not actually there. And that
you really need to be in our skybox, like.
And yes, in the skybox. Yes.
Rashad, tell them.
Yeah, you can't be Joe with the Marching Podcast sitting on the 35-yard line. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know
that'd even work out.
Yeah, that would hurt my street cred, man.
I know, man. No, but seriously, you do want the freedom to move about as you choose.
Right. So it's outstanding. I think, like I said, I was excited about seeing Jackson State, and I'm excited too about Benedict. You know, I love the smaller schools. I love the Morgan States, the Savannah States, the Bowies. So I'm excited to see Benedict. I got to see them at the Queen City Battle of the Bands, and I think Rashad was late getting there, but the week after we put out the Prunalysis, I think Showtime Entertainment put out the video. So I'm excited to see them. And I just wish there was kind of more of a smaller school element, because the bands that are there, they seem all major to me. Other than Benedict, these are all kind of other, and maybe Winston-Salem, maybe. But everyone else is like a major program.
But you gotta have some major ones to bring out the crowd, because let's just be real. If it was a bunch of like super small schools, like if it was 6 small schools and 2 of the major ones, I'm sorry, I don't know if I'd come out for that. And I know that, and I'm a band head, you know, like I don't know if the average person would come out for that either.
So that's good. So next question I asked you, Christy, was there a band that you would swap out? Or is there a band that's missing that you would like to see? And is there a band there that you don't want to see? So if you could swap out somebody, who would you do?
I'm just going to give you the first thing that comes to my mind. I would swap out Bethune-Cookman, and I would add Morgan State.
Okay.
Morgan State has been on the come up for the past couple of years, and I really thought that this was going to be their year, like to go to the Honda. Honestly, was surprised when the lineup came out and Morgan was not on it. But then that makes me think, well, you know, I'm a band head, so I'm kind of like in that subculture. But the folks that's running Honda, they don't know. But I mean, Morgan, they've been on the come up, and I feel like I thought this was their year. I felt like they kind of got robbed. Like, if it was everybody else on the lineup and swap out Bethune-Cookman and add Morgan, I would have been like, "This. I'm really excited about this."
Double Time Entertainment. Our passion is music and promoting HBCU marching bands as well as high school marching bands through high-quality movie videos and photos. We have worked with BET, Yamaha, Ludwig, Honda Motor Company, and been featured on CNN and Lifetime Network's series Bama State Style. We also helped and orchestrate Battle of the Bands with marketing and promotions, and also became the official media team for the Queen City Battle of the Bands in Charlotte, North Carolina. Join Double Time Entertainment on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and now new on Periscope. Music lovers are noteworthy.
My name is Rashad Waters, and I'm the owner of Block Band Music and Publishing and the infamous Prune Juice on the fifthquarter.com. And I love the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
What about you, Rashad? Was there a band that you would put in there or swap out with the current lineup?
I'm not going to go on record as far as swapping anybody out. I'll just say that now. But I would have liked to have seen a few different other bands. The 4 bands that I missed that I really think deserve to go to Honda this year. Number 1 would have been Savannah State. So there's your small band again. Yeah. I saw Savannah State this year at the Dillon High School Battle of the Bands. And I just thought that their routine was great, particularly their dance routine. You know, this is a day and age where dance routines are not getting house. And that is said so many times at the Honda. And I believe that Savannah State has now mastered that. And it would have been a nice change to actually be hype at the end of the show and not just hype, towards the middle. So Savannah State, of course, Southern University, they're again doing a fantastic job. I really enjoyed their performance against Jackson State this year. Even though I thought that Jackson State had the better halftime show, it wasn't by much. I thought that Southern, particularly that flower drill that they did, I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, it was.
I
was at that game, actually.
Southern's really consistent. They're doing some great work in the stands this year. I really would have loved to see them. FAMU, I think it's time for FAMU to come back. I saw them against South Carolina State this year. I thought their sound is incredible. I mean, I can't believe that they have been able to rebuild that program so fast. The only thing that they're missing is a trumpet section. They have about half the trumpets that they need to really balance that low brass section. But as far as their sound is concerned, it's really full. Like when they first came back, we were talking about how thin they sounded. It's really full, it's well balanced, and their discipline is incredible, which was something that was missing in the past. So I'm definitely excited about seeing them come back in the future. But the number 1 band that I'm really missing is Tennessee State. For me, Tennessee State is the band this year. I saw them at the Queen City Battle of the Bands. I personally thought they had the best performance overall. I thought they did a great job with the drill. Their sound is incredible. They have a lot of technique. What is it? All My Life. Is it called All My Life? Yeah, All My Life. Man, I thought that was fantastic. But the song of the year, other than Liberian Girl with Southern playing it, the song of the year was If I Ever Fall in Love Again. Like if we have like a band, like what was the song of the year, it's going to be those two. It's going to be Liberian Girl or it's going to be If I Ever Fall in Love, because those tubas on that thing, oh boy. And then later on I saw them perform at a soccer game, and they made a soccer player on the field and they made a net and they kicked the soccer ball into the net. I've always been a fan of Tennessee State every time they've gone to the Honda, and I just never thought that they really got the appreciation that they deserve. And I think that sometimes the elements of their show didn't quite come together. So now that to me, it would be their year to take the Honda, I'm very disappointed that they're not there.
You know what, Rashad? Now that you mentioned some things, there's a lot I agree with. I do agree with you with the fact that it's FAMU's time to come back. People try to get FAMU off of their radar, but when it comes down to it, you don't want to be the band in front of FAMU. I mean, they're back as far as I'm concerned. And also Tennessee State, man, I can't say enough about this band. I've always been a fan of Tennessee State, like even back in the day, and they're just doing some really good things and giving me like the songs I want, the sound I want, and really enjoyable show. I mean, man, I wish I could swap out some more bands if you think about it. Yeah, and have those two in. But yeah, I agree.
So shout out to Tennessee State, because our 2016 scholarship recipient, Diamond Frazier, she's marching with them. I know we've hit her up a couple times. Sorry, I don't have my phone. I usually send them texts and, check on them. So Tennessee State, Tennessee State to me, they have a huge history, but it seems like it's hard to identify them like with their own swag. or something about it. Like Jackson State
I
gets that
think
name.
maybe it's because of the conference that they're in.
Yeah, maybe that's
Maybe
it.
it's because they're not in the SWAC or the MEAC or whatever, or any of the HBCU conferences. So I don't want to say they get forgotten about, but it's like they're not on people's radar screen that I think should be.
I
Not
agree.
after the first 4 games.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. No, you're totally right. I hate that they're in that other conference, to be honest with you. I wish somebody can swap them up, but I guess it's better for them in whatever they're doing, and that's fine. I wanted to see Miles, because,
Oh,
I didn't
I
even
forgot
see
about Miles.
I didn't
Yeah,
even see
them too. Yeah, you're
I didn't
I
right.
just
see
hadn't
them
seen
in
Miles
the
on the
vote.
field.
I didn't even see them in the voting. Or I remember looking to try
Yeah.
to vote. I didn't even see them in the voting.
That ballot was slim pickings.
Yeah, it was. So I wish they were there. Like Rashad said, Savannah State, I just kind of want to see more of the smaller schools. But like you said, Chrissy, it's still an entertainment joint, so I'm sure that's part of it. But I'm excited to see Benedict. I would, try to probably, if there was a band to swap out, I would probably agree with you guys. Maybe Bethune-Cookman or maybe even Texas Southern, just because I know that. I just know them.
Yeah. I think I keep Texas Southern in because, well, first of all, they haven't been in a long while.
That's true.
And then also they have new leadership. And so I want to see, although I can't recall like what they played this year or whatever, but I feel like it's time for them to go again. Like I'm pleased with them.
Yeah, that's cool. It was hard for me not to say Winston-Salem because Winston-Salem has been a lot. So based on that, I would be like, okay, maybe give somebody else a chance. But Brother Magruder is the director, so we don't want to say that about Dog. We don't want to say about the Bros. We don't want, So other than that, I'm still excited about the lineup. So I want to ask you guys, probably my last question: who do you think is going to have the best performance? So I ask you, Christy, who do you think after it's all said and done, who do you think will be talking about winning this whole thing?
I don't want to say somebody who's gonna win it, but more of like
who's gonna do well.
Again, going back to Texas Southern, like they're a good band. They haven't been in a long time, and so I feel like people know what to expect. People who've been to other Hondas are going to know what to expect out of a lot of these bands that are there, but not necessarily Texas Southern, only because of that gap. So maybe the newness of them, I know they're not, officially new, but the newness of them, I think that might take them far.
Okay. All right. Rashad, what do you think, man? I guess who do you expect to perform well?
So the top 3 bands for me, number 1, to me, it is really A&T's match to lose. A&T has the ability to sweep the Honda. We know that because they've come in and they probably have done the best Honda show that I have ever seen. As I was talking about before, when it came to the wow factor, and I mentioned 2 bands that I thought could be different than that. A&T is that band because A&T is a very credible band. They sound good. They work hard. They do a lot of things. But it's more than that. When you come to the Honda bands and you're the 8th band, you have to do more than just hit a pinwheel right. You have to do more than just be loud. And I think A&T with their staff, they're very creative. They have the ability to put together a great show that's going to really blow people's minds. We've seen that. Are they going to put together that show that's really going to blow everybody away? I don't know.
Yeah, so, I wonder because that's, just to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, that's what I was thinking about. Like, number one, when I saw A&T, I'm like, okay, I'm guessing they're going to have the best show. Are they going to have the best show? And I'm excited to see what the Boom is going to do because A&T wasn't there last year, right?
That's right.
And I think Rashad and a lot of folks were saying that the Boom won or they did well. But now you actually have that band that's creative and does the theme shows, usually has what we know at HBCU school, probably the best halftime shows right now. And how are they gonna show up?
Going back to the Queen City Battle of Bands, like the first half of their show was a great show, but they just didn't they didn't finish up the show the right way. That could like the first half of their show could have been a Honda show. It was fantastic to me.
Yeah, it was.
Hi, everyone. This is Joe Beer, the Phantom Podcaster and owner and founder of the Marching Podcast. I want to tell you guys about this website, theedge1pro.com. That's DAEDGE1pro.com. This is the website of my man Garrett Ederson, the media director for Southern University's Human Jukebox. If you want to see great bands and a good idea of the HBCU experience, log into theedge1pro.com. Garrett has photos and videos of events on campus, along with parades of bands of all levels. So check out the Edge One Productions and theedge1pro.com.
Hey, band heads, this is Christy Walker. I'm alumni of the North Carolina A&T Blue and Gold Marching Machine and one of the creators of the fifthquarter.com. And you are listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
The next band would be Jackson State. I think I've seen Jackson State the best that I've seen them in a little while. Last year, it's like they had this huge band, and they just did not do the things that were entertaining. You know, like we saw that all year. It's like, whoa, what are y'all doing? But this year, I think we've seen a different Jackson State band, at least in terms of what they're doing. You know, they're still excellent as far as how they perform. So when it comes to Jackson State is going to be the best band when it comes to overall what we do as show style bands. They're going to march better than anybody else. They're going to be louder than anybody else. They're going to have an entertaining show. So the question is that show, which is probably going to be entertaining, they're going to make formations, but it's going to be a pretty typical show style show, maybe with some gimmicks in it, but it's going to be pretty typical. Is that going to be enough to be over A&T if they're at their best? And the third band to me is going to be Alabama A&M. Alabama A&M is going to have a great sound. They're going to be very structured. But the thing I've been wanting Alabama A&M to do, for a couple years now, is that now they have to do the wow factor. Alabama A&M sounds great. They sound great. I don't think anybody can take that away from them. But that's not enough. They can't just sound great. They can't just march. Now they've got to do something that's going to take our attention. Southern makes the halftime show. Norfolk State used to play Who Can I Run To and do that incredible modulation in the middle of it. A&T a couple years back did the drum and bugle corps type of feature. It's got to be something that's not a gimmick, but something that's awesome that's going to really take them to the next level. I remember when first Honda I went to, Prairie View was there, and I wasn't really looking for Prairie View to take it, but man, from their drum majors to their percussion section, they did a fantastic job, all the way to their dance routine. They surprised us and blew our minds. And to me, there was no doubt that Prairie View took it. And I think Alabama A&M is in that same place right now. They're a great band. If they can find something that's going to wow us, they could potentially take it.
I actually think about them too. Like you say, I know that they're going to sound good, but you have a little Magic City Classic rematch kind of sort of right here with having Alabama State there with them. And I like the rivalry because at first, when we first started doing the show, I felt like Alabama State was better, and they held their formations well and they were louder. But now Alabama A&M has that clarity of that sound.
Yeah, that sound is good at Alabama A&M.
A shout out to Brother Wright. Just straight coincidence, Christy, but that's dog down there in Alabama. So Rue. So yeah, it's excited about just seeing these bands. Excited to talk to you guys, and I am hoping and praying that the three of us will be together in January watching this. That's what I'm shooting for. That's what I'm.
Let our powers combine.
That's right, and we'll be there together up in the skybox. Cause
talk is cheap. Now Rashad actually comes through. Talk is cheap though.
But it's hard. I mean, if y'all were in Vegas, if this thing, you talk about the thing you started out with, the Mercedes, move it to Vegas. You probably won't get as many of the parents there, but at least I could drive to Vegas. And it's a whole bunch of
what you
ignorance
need to
going
do
on.
is move to the east of the Mississippi or something.
Yeah, that's hard. Y'all be voting red out there. I'm scared. I'm scared going back east.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
Hey, I knew
might be
California
right.
was gonna
You
be
might
blue.
need to stay where you are.
Yeah.
There are some bands that I don't think they were ready for the Honda Battle of Bands for 2017, but if there is an event for 2018, I would love to see these 4 bands. I put Miles down here just because I forgot to mention them in the top 4 of the last group that I mentioned. So I'll put Miles on here. I still haven't seen them on the field, but I think that they're going to do well. But the other bands would be, as Christy mentioned, Morgan State. For me, I wasn't ready to see Morgan State at the Honda quite yet, but I think they're going to be ready next year. I think they're going to be upper echelon next year, and I'll be excited to see them. Norfolk State, I think Norfolk State is like 10 seconds from being back. Like they're almost back. They are marching their tails off, and they're doing a great job on the field. They still need to do some things on the stands. They're not 100% back yet, but they're like 85% back. Those numbers are growing. I can't wait to see them on the Honda again. Can't believe I said that. And
I know. I was thinking that when you
it hurts my heart. To say
Very
that.
big of you. Very big of you.
The other band I would really like to see is Kentucky State. They are, to me, they are the best kept secret in bands right now. I saw them against Central State this year, and I was like, oh, wow, what am I looking at? Wow, they're really exciting. They're very uniform, disciplined. They have a good sound. And I think that if they continue to grow like that, they can be that small band that's there that's really going to do a great job.
Yeah, because they pack a good punch, Kentucky State. I saw them that Circle City Classic, and they had a really nice sound. What were you about to say, Christy?
I was going to say, in the spirit of being cordial to our rivals, I would not mind seeing North Carolina Central being in the Honda again, but that's only because of DeLynn.
Yeah.
That's only because of DeLynn. Because I think he's a very, very good director, and that program is definitely on the come up. But maybe in 2018, if they have one, I'd be okay with that. That was hard for me to say. I feel you, Rashad. I feel you.
Shout out to 96 White Shirts. There, Johnson C. Smith. Me and DeLynn, we used to rock our white shirts. We was crunk. We was excited. And then the next year, we both transferred. But, hey, we still love the double iOS. Did you have anything to sign us off with? Anything we should be looking forward to? Anything on your mind? Anything before we wrap up the podcast?
Well, I'm looking forward to the tomfoolery in the Skybox. I think it's going to be a good event. I know I shouldn't be saying this on like a HBCU band podcast, but I stopped going to Honda because of the bands a long time ago. I go for the social aspect, meet up with my friends, and watch some bands too and have some very good conversation. So I think it's going to be a really good show. I'm like I said at the beginning, I'm satisfied with the lineup. I think it's okay.
Rashad, any closing thoughts on the podcast?
Gosh, let's see here. Excited about this year. I'm heading to Comic-Con myself. So I'm going to be dressed as Loki. So maybe you guys will see some pictures of me casting some spells over Thor and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, the brother? You going to be the brother with the dark hair?
Yeah, that's going to be me.
Nice. I like him. I liked his character because he was tripped. He was right. Thor was a little bit. He be smelling himself.
Yeah,
and he got the blonde hair too. I wouldn't like.
You take away the hammer, what is it? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Loki, yeah, that's the man right there. He needs that. Let me just put this out there. Loki needs to have his own movie. I'm just gonna put this out there. Maybe we can get a hashtag going, but Loki needs to have his own movie.
Men in their comic books, I tell you.
I'm into it, Chrissy.
Hey, you know how many women are gonna be at Comic-Con?
They had the best costumes.
Which Comic-Con? Like, the only one I think about is San Diego, right?
Oh, the Comic-Cons all over the place now. They're trying to make money.
But which one are you going to?
Oh, this is in Durham.
Oh, wait, that's this weekend?
Yeah.
See, that goes to show how much I keep up with that. Okay. Well, have fun. Have fun.
Thank you. I will. And I guess we're going to see what's going to happen in our nation right now. I was just kind of very blown away by kind of what happened. I guess that's for another conversation. But I guess we will see what happens and fight if we need to fight and work together if we need to work together. Or I guess a little bit of both is probably what will need to happen.
And I think we're on the right track. And shout out to our new president for winning. You're welcome to come on the podcast and talk about bands. That's my new thing, y'all. I'm going to start inviting people to come on the podcast. Your agent can contact us, send us an email, and we'll have a good conversation. All right. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or a patron to the Marching Podcast, please contact the shows and we'll give you the criteria so we can start to pub your business using our platform. We'll play your commercial. We'll post your website on our blog. We'll help send out your information through social media. So contact us so we can build your business. Really good conversation with Rashad and Christy, and really glad to hook up with them once again this week about the beloved Honda Battle of the Bands. Looking forward to this year's competition and looking forward and hoping that I get a chance to go hang out in Atlanta in 2017.
This is Joshua Cousin, representing the Ocean of Soul, and you're listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
Hey, band heads, this is Christy Walker. I'm alumni of the North Carolina A&T Blue and Gold Marching Machine and one of the creators of the fifthquarter.com. And you are listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
My name is Rashad Waters, and I'm the owner of Block Band Music and Publishing and the infamous Prune Juice on the fifthquarter.com. And I love the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
We've come to the end of our podcast. Check out the website and donate what's in your heart to themarchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Thanks to you for listening, and remember, the lectures you deliver may be very fine and true, but I'd rather get my lesson by observing what you do. See you next time.